to come online so we can talk about the top five fastest cars of 2024 according to my review and according to some of the videos that I've been researching. So we're going to start with number five. So number five for me is the Mercedes-Benz SLS. I'm like, what? Yeah, it's number five. That's my number five, right? I don't know what your number five is. Why? Because this car, when it was produced, was way ahead of its time and is still a fast car, 500 to 600 horsepower plus. All right. Um, the next car on the list, you may be surprised about this one too. Uh, is the BMW M4 competition, the 2022 edition. I happen to own that vehicle. It's a marvelous car, cranking out 560 horsepower and 560 pound-feet of torque. Um, I remember, and I tell you a story where there was a car that was testing me. That was, I think, a BMW M3 that was modified, and it just couldn't keep up. It couldn't keep up, and we happened to end up at a gas station somewhere, and he was asking me, "Is that a mod?" I was like, "No, that's stock. That was stock." He said, "Do you know how fast we were going?" At some point, we were hitting 160 plus, and I said, "Oh, really?" I wasn't even looking at my speed gauge. But yeah, that's a fast car, and it's very stable when you're driving it. That's what makes it even more fun to drive, right? So the number three on my list, um, is the BMW i8. Okay, the 2029 Roadster. I'm sorry, not 2029, the 2019 Roadster version of that vehicle. Um, it combines electric and conventional, and it's really fast. It goes really fast. I don't know if you should call that an exotic car, but to me it is, because I was able to, not only was I able to enjoy the car when I have it, but I'm also um, just amazed at the technology that they put in there. It was just a lot of technology for its time. So I think it's a futuristic car and it's fast. I mean, fastest that I've gone on that car, I think it's by 130, without even knowing that it's going. You can hear the sounds. It makes some amazing sounds um, on the downshifts. So that's really fast. So the number two fastest car in my list is actually a Tesla. What? Yeah, a Tesla. It's a Tesla Model Y Performance Edition, and I think that's what I'm driving right now. I'm driving a Tesla Model Y Performance Edition. Uh, this is the kind of car that I call a sleeper. Like, you don't know it until it gets you, right? It's a sleeper car. Like, it is so fast. It's dual model, and by the time you even understand what just hit you, it's gone. Very, very fast vehicle. The Tesla Model Y Performance. You should check that out if you have an opportunity to drive one. My recommendation is go and drive it. Okay, Tesla Model Y Performance. All right, so did I say that was my number two? Yeah, and then my number one. You're not gonna believe my number one. My number one top five fastest car review uh, on my list, and you need to get ready, brace yourself for this. Is a 2006 Mercedes-Benz AMG. The 2006 Mercedes-Benz AMG S65. S65. Okay? 2006 Mercedes-Benz S65 AMG. When that car was produced, it came out the gate with 600 plus horsepower. It's a bi-turbo V12, but it was being modified to produce 695 horsepower. Again, remember, this is in 2006. That V12 bi-turbo engine is a work of art. As a matter of fact, it's utilizing a Pagani. All right, the Pagani uh, is one of the cars that actually have the V12 biturbo, okay, engine. So Mercedes-Benz produced that, and when the 2006 Mercedes-Benz S65 AMG came online, they kept that engine for the last 20 years until it stopped production in 20, I think it was 2020. It stopped production. But however, you can see some high performance cars that still use that Mercedes-Benz uh, engine. Okay, so those are my top five. Again, you may be surprised. You thought I was going to give you some top five from some high performance vehicles uh, like the Venom. That's really what people are saying is number one right now. Or you thought I was going to talk about the Pagani. I was going to talk about the Jesco. Or you thought probably I was going to talk about, maybe like other cars. But these are my top five. I'd like to know what your top fives all time performance vehicles are fastest. Okay, so go ahead and leave a link, leave a comment down somewhere in the chat. Okay, leave a comment. Again, those are my top five. I'm not telling you to say that they were wrong or they're the best. I'm just saying, from my perspective, this is the top five performance vehicles that I think anybody that experiences them is going to believe. Okay, I mean, recount them: 2006 Mercedes-Benz S65 AMG, Tesla Model Y Performance, right? I also told you about the 2019 BMW i8, the Roadster version, right? Then I told you about, what did I say was number five? I, well, if you remember my countdown, just go ahead and leave it at the bottom. But rest assured, I did not mention any high performance car that you thought that was going to be in this account now. They were mostly everyday cars. Some of them I've actually driven, and I know exactly what the performance is, right? And these cars are not for just the faint of heart. They will test you. And one thing I've realized when it comes to performance cars, a lot of people say, "Oh, I want a performance car. I want a performance car." But then they get one. They don't even go ahead and test the cars. You don't drive the cars the way they're supposed to be driven. These cars are meant to be driven. I'm not saying go ahead and do something that's outside of Formula One. But if you go to Formula One and you hear the engines, the sounds of these cars, it makes you want to enjoy it. It makes you want to feel these cars, right? And that's what I'm getting at with these performance cars. You got to know which one is actually a performance car, and you got to know which one that you want to drive the most. Again, I told you the story about the BMW i Roadster. I just can't stop being amazed at the technology of that particular car. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. They don't make them anymore, so I think down the line they're going to be a collector car because it was just so futuristic. As a matter of fact, if you start looking at some of the high performance cars that are coming up now, most of them are trying to integrate the hybrid. Understand the hybrid technology. Um, People like Lamborghini and Ferrari, they're looking to leverage that hybrid that BMW basically was way ahead of its time in the supercar, right? So that's why I think in the not too distant future, that's going to be a collector car. So if you know somebody that owns a BMW i8, they probably should keep it. I'm not saying just keep it because that's the way to do things. I'm saying keep it because at some point, that's really how I think you're going to be making your money if you're a collector. But if you're not a collector and you don't understand exactly what money making opportunities exist in the collector market, I've kept, and I think I'm sharing, or maybe it's not sharing right now, but I'll leave a link somewhere on the chat, on the comment section. I'm going to tell you, or possibly in the description. Um, I put together an ebook that tells you how to leverage these opportunities that I'm talking about, right? So it's an exotic car ebook, like arbitrage. So if you notice, some of the cars that I was talking about, they're kind of rare. They're not so rare that you can't find them. They're just rare. And I'll give you a tip. If you find these cars and you're trying to take advantage of them to either to drive them, remember this: the people that actually purchased that car know exactly why they bought it, and they're enjoying it, and they'll like to share it with other people. And you could possibly make a little bit of money from an arbitrage perspective. So the ebook that I've put together is specifically dealing with arbitrage, right? So how can you arbitrage? How can you take full advantage of these cars the way you see them, enjoy them now, and possibly get out of the cars in the future? So that's what I was wanting to take this top five to lead you into exotic car arbitrage. Okay, it's a thing that I've done, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm actually making money from this exotic cars that are fast. They're super fast, but the thing is, people don't understand how fast they are until they get tested on the road. Okay, they don't understand how fast these cars are until they get tested on the road, and then when they get tested on the road, they feel bad because they got their behind kicked. They got their behind kicked messing around with the wrong car. So yeah, so we're talking about top five fast cars, and how are these fast cars the best cars for you, and how can you enjoy these cars? Can you actually get on some kind of an arbitrage where you're making money from the cars and the cars are actually still growing in value? And how do you think that would be in the next foreseeable future? In other words, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, how do you see these cars performing? Are they going to perform great for you where you can make some money from them? Or is it something where you're thinking, well, I'm not really sure right now if I can make money from these cars, but I like to drive them, right? I like to drive them. If you see some of the reviews that I left a couple of weeks ago, people were leaving a lot of comments. And some of my new subscribers, if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't already done so, click the thumbs up button. That's going to get the algorithm to get more people to come to watch the video. So, well, again, fast cars are fast cars. And oh, by the way, if you want to be a member, go ahead and sign up for my membership. What that's going to do is I'll be giving you shout outs during some of the chat sessions, right? So I'll be doing shout outs. You'll get some early videos before they get released. I know this is live, but I do put up videos. Check out the channel. And that's pretty much what I want to talk about. So if you think the 2006 Mercedes Benz S65 AMG, and it's going to surprise you, this is a four-door sedan. If you think it's faster than a BMW M4 competition, go ahead and type yes, yes, yes in the chat. Do it right now. Type yes, yes, yes in the chat, and I'm going to follow up, and then we're going to have a conversation about why you think that is. But if you think BMWs do not make good cars anymore, even though I will tell you right now, if you look at um, consumer sentiments, that brand is now number one. It's been that way for the last 2 years. That means that for reliability service, it's actually outperformed what traditionally would be cars from Japan, right? So the Japanese cars traditionally um, held that top spot for the longest time. I think the likes of Honda, possibly Nissan. But I will tell you this though, what I've found, and excuse me for the fire trucks right next to the fire station. Yeah, sorry about that. But what I found is that some of these car makers start off on the racetrack, and then they refine the technology that enables them to be that great on the racetrack. So after they refine that technology, they then introduce that to the consumers. And I think finally, consumer acceptance becomes a way for them to roll out these cars with really good technology, good engines to the public. Now, the one thing that I think that's a little bit concerning right now and the move towards adopting electric vehicles. And I told you about the Tesla Model Y performance, why I think that's a great car. And it's a sleeper car. You're not going to understand it. The way to see a performance is, I think, dual motors on the rear, right? Okay. When you see dual motors, and if you see them with Pirelli tires, I think it's 20-inch Pirelli tires. If you see a Tesla that has that, and it possibly has a carbon fiber wing, don't test it. Again, I'm gonna test. I'm gonna performance Y right now, right? But if you see a Tesla that looks like that, stay away from it because it's very fast. It's super fast. It can take off and it would disappoint you. I'm telling you, it will disappoint you. Many of fast cars have been disappointed messing around with a Tesla Model Y Performance Edition. Many of fast cars have been disappointed. And I'm not going to sit around here and tell you that you are not going to be disappointed if you have like a GT4 RS. A lot of people say, oh, the Porsche GT4 RS is a fast car, but why doesn't it go as fast as, say, a GT3 or a GT2? I don't know. Again, those cars, going back to what I was saying, they were initially made for the fast car market, the racetrack, the performance circuit. But things change, and when things change, people also tend to not just change how they operate, they also tend to change exactly what kind of a car that they see themselves in. When I ask you this question, if I was to say I'm going to give away one of my performance vehicles, but under the condition that you're going to drive them, would you do that? Would you drive a performance vehicle under the condition you're going to drive them? Or would you keep a performance vehicle just because you think if I keep the performance vehicle, it's going to allow me to maybe have it grow in value down the line? I'd like to know what you think. Just go ahead and drop a comment right in the chat real quick. Drop a comment. If I was to give away one of my performance vehicle, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to say, yes, this performance vehicle actually allowed me to gain efficiencies, allow me to do exactly what I want to do? Leave a comment below. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to be looking at some of your comments and I'll get back while I tell you about why it's essential for you to actually give away, not give away, but drive a giveaway car. I've been seeing a lot of those lately of people out there saying, oh, we're giving away a Porsche GT4 RS, but it's a 2023 version. Remember, that's when the RS for the GT4 came out, right? But it's a 2023 version, but it's 2024, but I mistakenly called it a 2023. So go ahead and tell me what you guys think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to be following up. I'll be checking up your comments. Don't forget to like again. Don't subscribe. Don't forget to do that. And I want you to also become a member. For those that are new to the channel, membership has its privileges. I'll be giving you shout